Hello and welcome back to Addicted to Angling. Yet again we're back down the club lake. Now this is an old estate lake, well established, full of some beautiful scaly mirrors, lovely commons. Fish in here go up to nearly 30, I think the biggest in here is about 27. But there are some stunning fish in here. They're not the biggest, but they are absolute crackers. Now as you probably know, it's autumn time here in the UK if you're watching this from abroad. We've had a few days of rain. Water levels are starting to rise back up from the summer because the summer, a lot of the lakes were depleted in water levels. Oxygen level was down. I haven't had a good summer at all in the fishing stakes. So I've come back down here, see what I can get. I've picked a beautiful swim. I'll show you in a little while, but I've got some lilies to one side. I can fish to the far bank from here as well. I'll go through all my rigs with you in a little bit later on. I'm just hoping to get a fish on camera for you because I need to christen my new rods. Still haven't christened them. Ever since I purchased them, I haven't had a fish, which as you can imagine is very annoying. But like I say, welcome back. Hopefully we get some fish on camera for you. Keep watching and let's see if we can bank a nice chunky scaly mirror, because like I say, the ones in here are absolute stunners. Now this is my swim on the lake. I've gone down to the deeper end. Obviously it's autumn, we're going into winter. Temperatures have dropped, water temperatures have dropped. The fish are going to be sitting in the deeper water because the deeper water obviously holds a bit more warmth. I've already seen fish boshing to the left hand side of these lilies. They are about. I haven't seen any bubbles or anything around where I'm fishing, but my spots are, if you look, where are we? Just on the edge of these lilies. I'll drop one. There's a tiny little alcove bit there. I've got one sitting in there, and I've got one sitting just over there, just off the trees. Now, with it being winter, with it being autumn, a lot of debris falling off the tree. The leaves are falling down, twigs are falling down. Bottom of the lake is going to start to be getting covered in debris. So I'm not fishing bottom baits. I've got spinner rigs on both rods, fishing Parker baits, OG fruit and nut pop-ups. I'll show you them in a little while. I'm using Parker baits a lot at the minute. I've had some good success on them so far. Hopefully, like I say, I can produce a fish tonight on them. Using a washed out pop-up on one and a match the hatch pop-up on the other. And with them, I'm just putting a little mesh stocking on with about 6 or 7 14mm OG fruit and nut bottom baits covered in OG fruit and nut sauce, which like I say, I'll show you in a little while. And also if you keep watching, I also now have a 10% off discount code to use with Parker Baits when you go on their website for your first order. So like I say, keep watching. I'll go through the baits I'm using in a little while and I'll give you the code, so if you want to pop over there and grab some of the baits you can. Wind tonight, non-existent, absolutely non-existent. Looking on the weather reports earlier, it was showing it was swinging 6 mile an hour, 7 mile an hour, north, west and southerly. But like I say, where we are, we're quite protected and there is nothing on the surface. You can see that it looks like a mill pond. It really does. So you can't really sit on the edge of the wind, can't sit on the teeth of the wind. It's just a case of, I pulled up, I wandered round, I looked at this swim and I was just feeling it. You know, you turn up to a lake sometimes, little robin mate, I've got a little robin keep coming. Hello mate. He keeps coming, he's just sitting where I'm filming. He keeps sitting on the camera as well. I don't know if you just saw him fly past, but yeah, just pulled up, rocked up. Haven't seen any shows, but I just feel in the swim. Sometimes I find that I'll go to a lake and there's no shows, but you just walk past the swim and you just get the feeling that you want to go in there, you want to fish it, you think it's going to produce. So hopefully we get one out. Let's see what happens. I'll come back in a little while. With Tony's obviously fishes with me quite a bit. You might have seen him on camera a couple of times before. But Tony, whereabouts are you fishing, buddy?
Right, I've got one, literally, where about a rod length off the corner of that lily pad just over there, just pretty much in line with that jetty. and then I've got one literally right in front of that lily pad on that corner bit just there. You know what I mean? So hopefully, you know what I mean, tonight I'll bait it up. I haven't baited up too much. I'll put just enough to just get him interested. Do you know what I mean? And then hopefully later on in the evening, that'd be wallop. Nice mid double in the net to be quite happy. You know what I mean? Just to like, obviously we haven't been for quite a while, and just like to get another fish would be lovely. I tell you that right now. Oof.
Yeah, it'd be nice to catch, mate. Plus we got kebabs coming later as
Yeah,
well, man.
yeah.
Right, mate. Hopefully
We're spoiled.
Yeah, we are. Well, I'm going to spoil you, mate. Hopefully I'll come over later, mate, and we'll see you back on film with a nice chunky mirror in your hands,
Yeah,
all right?
very much. Right,
lovely
catch
job.
You later.
See you later, buddy. Well, it's 5 o'clock. This lake is situated out in the middle of nowhere. There's no light sources around here, so it is nearly pitch black already. But I love this autumn fishing. I really do. I love it. Early nights, long periods of darkness. I love fishing through the night for carp. Really do. As it was getting darker out there, loads of boshing, loads of fish showing from the swim next door, through my swim, into Tony's swim, and then just, we didn't see any bosh in the real deeper part of the lake, but they seem to be boshing through here, so I'm hoping the fish are there. I've had one liner on my left hand rod, just a couple of beeps, fish obviously moving through, catching the line, so, well, they're in here, and like I say, I am buzzing for this. Just the atmosphere seems to be electric tonight. I don't know what it is. Me and Tony are having a right laugh. It just feels right. It really does feel spot on for a bite. It just feels absolutely amazing. It's a buzz, a proper buzz, and I love it every time I come fishing, because years ago, started off as a junior match angler up till about the age of 12, 13, and I really got into my lure angling for pike. Did that for a few years, and then stopped doing that, and I got into my beach fishing. Now, with my beach fishing, I did very, very well in that. Journalist for some magazines. I produced a few videos that are on this channel if you go back and look at them. Fully sponsored at one point for a couple of years, and I managed to get a job as a worldwide fishing guide, traveling the world, working for a company, taking people fishing. So, you know, fishing is in my blood, fishing is my buzz, fishing is my life. But as you get older, family commitments, work commitments, they all take over, unfortunately, and that is why I'm not getting out as much. But I work nights, but that's coming to an end in January. Once that comes to an end, I'll be back on the fishing. You know, I miss it. I do miss coming out. I miss making the videos. I miss writing for magazines, the journalism side of things. It's something that's been in me since, fishing has been in me since I was about 4 or 5 years old. My dad took me out fishing. I think the first ever fish I caught was a little bootlace eel on the River Ning, because I was brought up in Peterborough. You know, and ever since then, it's just a part of you. It really is. But anyway, like I say, the rod I had the liner on was my left-hand rod, and I've already spoken to you. I've mentioned Parker Baits. Now, as you can see, I've got the cap Parker Baits. Parker Baits YouTube channel. Ben makes the YouTubes. Tom is like not a silent partner. It's like his brother, who does a lot more of the boilie producing, etc., etc. Obviously, Ben works with the producing of the boilies as well. Ben makes some amazing videos. He's becoming really popular on YouTube. Really nice bloke, you know. I've spoken to him a few times, obviously on messages, and he's a top lad. He really is. And like I say, moved on to their baits because I saw him on YouTube. And my left-hand rod today has got the Parker Baits OG Fruit and Nut washed out pop-ups. I've got one of them on there. They smell so good. They really, really do. They smell absolutely delicious. That's the washed up version. And on the other one, I've got a, yeah, again, OG Fruit and Nut, but this is a match the hatch. Bit darker in coloration. It's got the speckles in that you'd associate when you put it with the bottom baits that they produce of the same variety. They produce boilies, freezer boilies, really fresh, frozen straight away. They produce a lot of other little things as well. There's a thing called the flat spot they produce, which is a oil-based product. I've had a lot of luck on that. I haven't got any in my arsenal at the minute. Plus, as it's becoming more wintry, colder, I probably won't use it as much. I prefer to use oil-based products in the summer, because obviously as the water temperature cools, oil becomes a lot more viscous. It becomes a lot more solid and gloopy. I don't like using oil-based products in the winter, but what I do like using they also have this stuff. They have the sauce. Now the sauce, it's a liquid. It's basically an additive you add to your boilies. I soak my bottom baits in this even when I put them in the PVA mesh. I soak all my bottom baits in it if I'm using them before I go. I'm going to be doing a session soon on M1 on the water park. A few weeks ago I was going to do a session on there. I'd knocked up 3 kilos of boilies, a load of corn, a load of this stuff in there, because this stuff, it clings to the boilies, it makes them gloopy. You put it in the water and it just slowly disperses. Lots of little food particles that draw the carp in. And I was prepared to go. You know, I finished work, all my stuff was in the car, and I started feeling a bit ill because I work nights. I started feeling a bit ill about 2 o'clock in the morning. And come 7:30, 8 o'clock before I left, I started feeling really, really bad. So decided to go home. Got worse, ended up having COVID, week off work. It hit me quite badly, to be honest with you, and that's why I haven't been out, because I've had a bad cough. I've felt really bad since then. That's one of the reasons I haven't been out on the bank till now. You know, and I was planning to do just a day hit on M1, because M1 on the water park, it's a match lake, but there's some absolute clonking carp in there. You know, they're feeding up. There's a lot of product going in there, as in a lot of bait. There's a lot of loose feed going in. These carp have, for a match lake, you know, there's some stonking fish in there. There really is. So me and Tony were just talking. We're going to go and do a session on there soon. So look out for the video for that coming soon. Yep. Schoolboy error. I've left my head torch at home, as you sometimes do. You know, one of them things that was charging up. I woke up, came out, walked out the flat, got here, opened up my bag. I was like, oh, you know, head torch. But luckily I got the torch on my light, so I'll just use that to light up and illuminate everything tonight when I'm fishing. Hopefully if I get a fish, I will be able to illuminate the swim with it, because it does go quite bright. But yeah, that's where we are at 5 o'clock at night. Like I say, Parker Baits, another thing as well. If you do fancy ordering from Parker Baits, just to try them out, you know, just give them a go. You know, what harm does it do to just do one order from them and try their bait? You will be hooked as soon as you get it, because it is just so, it's very, very good bait. Very good bait. If you were to be their first time purchase on their website, which is, just type Parker Baits into Google and their website will come up. If you go to the checkout and you type in the code A, number 2, as in A2, A for Addicted to Angling, A2A, you'll get 10% off your first order. Now, who can moan about that in days and times like this where money is tight? 10% off, you know, it all adds up. It all adds up. And like I say, if you try their baits, you won't be disappointed in the slightest. But yeah, we'll leave that there. I'm hoping these rods scream off in a minute. Like I say, I've had a liner. The fish are there. We've seen them moving. We've seen the lily pads shaking as they go through. We've seen a couple of swirls in the pads. There's fish boshing at the back. Nothing big we've seen topped out, don't get me wrong. But there are fish in here. There are carp in here. More to the point, you know. There's a few eyed jumping and stuff like that, because this lake's full of eyed as well. But the carp are there. Are we going to get one? I hope so. Is it going to be a scaly stunner, which this lake does hold, and in their autumn colours they're going to look beautiful. They really are. I blooming hope so. But I'll bring you back in a little while and we'll see where we are when I come back. It's now 7 o'clock. It's still a few liners coming. You know, we're getting the liners, the fish are in there, but the food has just turned up. And look at this. Oh, large mixed kebab and chips. Delivered to the lake. Tony's got himself a burger. Quite look at that chicken. Yum. Tony's got himself a quarter pounder with cheese and chips. Gonna eat this, and then we'll probably have a little bit more of a social. Like I say, the liners are coming. The fish are in the swim. Let's hope they find the bait. They get their heads down, and we get a run very soon. Now let me just show you something here that's in my swim. Every time I come out and turn around with any type of light on, I absolutely jump out of my skin. I don't know why, because I know it's there, but look at that. It is literally a set of overalls hanging from the tree to keep, obviously, birds, predators and stuff away. But I'll be literally doing something, I turn around out the corner of my eye, I see that, and I just jump. bloody thing. But the kebab was lovely, by the way. Just thought I'd let you know that. Tony's been getting liners. I haven't had any more liners for a little while. There's a mist rolling off the lake. Every time you put your light anywhere near the lake, you can see the mist. It's so carpy. It really is. It is such a carpy night. It's beautiful. The moon's up. We don't need head torches because the moonlight is so bright. It's lighting up everything around us. But still no fish. But it is very early days. We have, well, nearly 12 hours left, to be honest with you, at least, before we go, because we normally do disappear off here first thing in the morning before all the match anglers turn up, because a lot of match anglers do like fishing this lake. Let's just see if we can get a fish. You know, it is looking carpy. I'm confident. I've got the Parker baits on. I've got the rods set perfectly. They're on the spots. Let's just see if those fish can find the bait and we get a scream and run. Well, what can I say, apart from the fact that I have just had one of the best night's sleep I have had in weeks. Very quiet during the night, very, very quiet. It's now 6:30 in the morning. I've woken up, I've completely changed my tactics. What I've done now is, I wouldn't normally bring the rods in, but if I'd have woken up during the night, I'd have probably felt the same, to be honest with you. But I've just woken up and I really wasn't feeling the way I was fishing. I've had no more liners, no more bites. The fish in here, they're old wary fish. You know, I've fished pop-ups in here. I've never had a fish on a pop-up from here, but I've kept trying to see if I can do it. I've now finally succumbed to the fact that I don't think pop-ups are the way forward in here. So what I've done, I've bought both rods in, swapped them over for turbo German rigs. I've put bottom baits on both. Basically, I've got some 14mm OG fruit and nuts Parker baits soaked in the sauce. That have been soaking in the sauce for a couple of days. They're fairly soft, but I've put one on each rod. Little mesh bag of bottom baits that have been soaked as well, and I've flicked them both back out on the spots. Hoping to nick a bite in the next 2 or 3 hours. It's going to start raining around about 9 o'clock here today, so I really want to be away by then, go home, sort some stuff out. Like I say, it's been very, very uneventful. I went over to see Tony about 9:30 last night. He was sound asleep, so I come back to my bivvy. I was going to do some more filming, but I come back, I sort of sat down. I'd had my kebab, I got in the bag, started watching some YouTube, and the next thing I know, it was 6 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, it is what it is. It's beautiful out here. It's so quiet, you do just sleep like a log. But let's see if we can nick a bite. Now I've changed tactics in the last couple of hours. The water is perfect, there's no wind. You know, the temperature is quite low. I think it went down to about 4 degrees last night, so temperatures are plummeting. But I just want one of these scaly, beautiful autumnal carp from in here. So let's see if we can do it. I'm feeling confident. Sun's coming up. It's not looking too bad at all. This is normally quite a good bite time on the lake at dawn, so we'll see what happens. I'll come back in a bit, and let's hope before I go I can nick a bite. What a beautiful still morning. It is absolutely beautiful. Not a ripple on the water, little fish topping, seagulls or sea chickens flying around. I had barn owls flying around last night before I went to bed as well. You could just see them flying up and down and screeching to each other. This lake is just phenomenal. It really is. It's the wildlife, everything. It's just so relaxing being here. But unfortunately, the fish don't seem to be feeding at the minute. You know, I've had some good catches from here. Tony's had some good catches from here on overnighters. He says, no! No! Sake, mate, that drop slammed up, mate. I'm fucking screaming. Well, as you can see, just dropped the run. Nothing wrong with the rig, just unfortunate. So the fish are now coming on the feed. I'm going to get that back out in the same spot, see if I can get another run off it. Now, I just thought I'd show you something really cool. Well, I think it's really cool. I like my mushrooms and stuff like that. Like, take quite a lot of photographs of them. Thought I'd show you something that we found in the next swim. Look at the size of these bad boys. Look at the size of that. That is an absolute beast of a mushroom. They've been nibbled on by something. Hopefully they're not magic, because if they are, you'll have some deer wandering around this place thinking they're flying over the lake. Look at that. Pretty cool. Gonna start packing up in a minute. No more shows. I say no more shows. There's been fish boshing, but no more bites on the rods. No more runs. What can you say? Change to the bottom baits has obviously done the business. So I put them on, and 40 minutes later I had a run. So I've been trying pop-ups in this lake now for quite a while. It's all I've been fishing in here because there's a lot of debris on the bottom of the lake, but being an old lake, the fish in here are really finicky. I mean, you know, they're old warriors, they've seen it all, and to be honest with you, I'm thinking from now on bottom baits, I'm just going to go back to bottom baits on it, because I've had all my fishing here on bottom baits, but I'm a bit stubborn in the fact I like to try something. I like to keep going with it, but you have to succumb sometimes and just say to yourself, that's not the way forward. Bottom baits are the way forward in here. So next time I come back, obviously I'll be fishing bottom baits from the start. It is what it is, you know. It's one of them things. Next session, I think me and Tony have been speaking about, we're going to go on traditional or M1 on Suffolk Water Park, sort of runs waters. You know, the big lake at the water park, which is the one I fished on one of my videos. That's not a runs water, that's a big fish lake. But we will get on there and hopefully get some fish. Obviously we're going November now, it's the beginning of November, so we're going to be going into December soon. Fishing is going to get a lot harder, but I like fishing through the winter. Me and Tony have been discussing a lot earlier. We want to do some snow sessions this year. If it snows, get out, get fishing right in the cold weather, see if we can pinch a fish. But yeah, anyway, I think Tony's starting to pack down, which you can see he is. I'll start packing my stuff away in a minute as well, probably leave in about an hour's time or so. Still got an hour to nick a bite. Fish are boshing. Fish have started showing in the last hour and a half. You know, just before I had that run, the fish started boshing out. They are from left to right again of where we're fishing. You know, left from the edge of those lily pads there, across to those pads there, so they are in this section. It's just a case of hopefully another one finding a bait and actually this time nailing it. But I will come back before I go and let you know how we get on, but hopefully the next frame you see is me holding a fish. Well, that is everything packed away. Well, say everything. Just packing down the last of it. Rods are still going to be out. They're probably going to be out for another 10 minutes, something like that. So, very last knockings. Who knows, might get a fish by then, but if not, I'd love to say thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I know it's a blank, I know it's another blank, but this is the rawness of fishing, this is the realness of fishing. I'm not just going to put up videos where I catch all the time, because that does not happen. You know, I'm fishing hard waters. These waters are not very well, this water is not very well stocked. The fishing that are in here are absolutely stunning. Just to get a run today, I'm happy with it this time of year. But like I say, me and Tony, we'll be back in the next video fishing a day ticket water, probably a bit of a runs water. Want to get some fish on camera for you and just see what happens. Yeah, the fish are there, the fish are boshing, but it's just one of them things. So if I come back in a second, if you look on obviously the length of the video, if there is more length on the video, you'll know I've had a fish. So keep watching if the video does not finish now, and you might just see a little stunner. If not, take care of yourselves, and hopefully I will see you on the bank soon.